Sometimes in life, it feels like everything we've built, everything we've loved, and everything we've worked for slips right through our fingers. For Mark, a middle-aged man in his late 40s, that was exactly what had happened. He had lost his job when the small workshop he poured his life into went under. His marriage had crumbled under the weight of financial stress and broken dreams. And his sense of purpose? Gone, like the pieces of wood and metal he once turned into something meaningful. On this cold evening, Mark sat quietly at a nearly empty bus station. The fluorescent lights flickered, buzzing faintly overhead. With only one suitcase at his side, the last tangible reminder of the life he had lived, he stared out at the fading evening sky. He muttered to himself softly as if no one else could hear, "This is the end, I'm done with this town and all its memories." For him, this bus wasn't just transportation, it was escape. Escape from pain, from failure, from every reminder of what he once thought his life would be. But what Mark didn't know was that life was about to place someone in his path. Someone who would challenge everything he believed about endings. Someone who would turn this farewell into something he never saw coming. But who was this person? And how could one small encounter change the course of Mark's life forever? Just as Mark stood to board the bus, a sound caught his attention. The soft cry of a child. Not a tantrum, but the kind of cry that comes from fear. Across the waiting area, a young woman in her mid-20s, clearly exhausted, was kneeling beside a little boy who clung desperately to her hand. His eyes were red and watery, his voice trembling. "I don't want to go, Emily. I don't want to leave." The young woman, Emily, tried her best to soothe him. "I know, buddy, but we have to. It's just you and me now, and we'll figure it out together." Her voice cracked as she said it, betraying the strength she was trying so hard to show. She looked around for a place to sit, but the benches were scattered, most taken by luggage. Mark, watching quietly, noticed the weariness in her eyes, the kind of exhaustion that went deeper than just a long day. For a moment, he considered looking away. After all, what did it matter? He was leaving anyway. But something inside him shifted. Almost instinctively, he stood, walked over, and gently offered his seat. "Here," he said softly. "You two sit together." Emily looked up, surprised, her eyes filling with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. That small gesture, a seat, a moment of kindness, became the spark that opened the door to conversation. Emily explained that the boy was her younger brother, Jacob. Their parents had died in a tragic accident a year ago, and she had taken on the responsibility of raising him alone. Now, with limited money and no clear plan, they were moving to another city to try and start over. Her words carried fear, but also resilience. Mark listened quietly, but inside he felt something stir. For the first time in a long time, someone's story felt heavier than his own. And in that moment, without even realizing it, Mark's ending began to look less certain. But how could two strangers on the same bus possibly change each other's lives? Mark was about to find out. As the bus rumbled down the dark highway, its dim lights flickering above, Emily glanced over at Mark. There was something in his silence that intrigued her. Something about the way he carried himself. A man who had once held more than he had now. "What about you?" she finally asked. "Where are you headed?" Mark hesitated. He hadn't told anyone his story in months. But there, in the quiet of that bus, with a stranger and a child who looked at him with wide, trusting eyes, the walls he built around himself began to crack. He told her about the workshop he once ran, a small place where young people came to learn carpentry and mechanics. He spoke of the pride he felt teaching skills that gave others hope, and the heartbreak of shutting it all down when the bills piled too high. Emily listened intently. But it was Jacob, the little boy, who leaned in closer, his eyes lighting up. "You taught kids? Like me?" For the first time in years, Mark smiled. Just a small smile, but it was real. That simple question, asked with such innocence, made him feel seen. Emily noticed it too. "Mark," she said gently, "you know, maybe what you built didn't fail. Maybe it mattered more than you think." Her words lingered in his mind. Could it be true? Could the thing he called a failure have actually planted seeds he just couldn't see? As the night stretched on, their stories intertwined. Emily's determination for her brother, Mark's regret for what he lost, Jacob's innocent admiration, together, they painted a picture of possibility. But the real turning point wouldn't come until they reached their next stop, when Mark would face a choice that could either close the door forever or open a new one he never expected. The bus pulled into a small stopover station. Passengers stretched their legs, some grabbing coffee, others checking their phones. Emily sat at a table, papers spread out, school enrollment forms, housing applications, job listings. She looked overwhelmed, scribbling notes, her brother tugging at her sleeve. Mark stood nearby, watching. He noticed the confusion in her eyes as she struggled to fill out forms, the uncertainty in her voice as she whispered to Jacob that she wasn't sure how it would all work out. For the first time in a long time, Mark felt something awaken, not just sympathy, but instinct. The instinct to help. He walked over slowly, sat down across from her, and pointed at one of the forms. "You missed a section here," he said gently. "Want me to help you with that?" Emily looked up, startled, then nodded. Together, they went through the paperwork. Mark's steady hand guided her, his practical knowledge filling the gaps her inexperience left. And as he helped, a thought formed in his mind. Maybe his journey wasn't about running away. Maybe his ending could actually be the beginning of someone else's story. For years, he thought he had nothing left to give. But now, sitting across from this young woman and her brother, he realized he still had something priceless: experience, wisdom, and a heart that, despite everything, still wanted to serve. But would he really give up his escape? Or would fear pull him back onto that bus? The decision he was about to make would change everything. The bus driver called out, "Last boarding call." Passengers hurried back, luggage in tow. Mark stood at the doorway, his ticket in hand. This was it, his chance to leave everything behind. But as he glanced back, his eyes met Emily's. She sat holding Jacob, her face tired but hopeful. In that moment, Mark's chest tightened. He thought back to the workshop he once ran, the young lives he saw transformed, the pride of teaching. He thought of Emily, barely more than a girl herself, carrying the weight of raising her brother alone. And suddenly his decision was clear. Mark stepped away from the bus. He let the ticket fall into the trash. Instead of boarding, he turned back to Emily. "I'm not going," he said firmly. "I'm staying. And if you'll let me, I want to help you." Emily's eyes widened in shock, then softened with tears. In the weeks that followed, Mark reopened his workshop, not as a business, but as a community center. He taught kids like Jacob, giving them skills, hope, and purpose. Emily volunteered after work, her brother thriving under Mark's mentorship. Mark's farewell had transformed into something else, a new beginning. Not just for Emily and Jacob, but for him, too. But how would this new chapter play out? Could Mark truly find belonging again after losing so much? Months later, the workshop echoed with laughter and the steady hum of tools. Children worked on projects, their hands busy, their minds alive. Emily stood by, guiding Jacob as he proudly showed Mark the birdhouse he built. Mark's heart swelled. The building that once symbolized failure now radiated with purpose. And every smile, every spark of confidence in those kids, reminded him why he stayed. Emily often said, "Mark, you didn't just help us, you gave us a family." The bus station, once a symbol of escape, had become the place where everything changed, where an ending transformed into a beginning. And as Mark locked up the workshop one evening, listening to the echoes of joy inside, he whispered to himself with a smile, "Sometimes the end we prepare for is only the doorway to the beginning we never saw coming." Moral of this story: true kindness doesn't just change someone else's life. Sometimes, it rewrites our own endings into beginnings we never expected. And just like Mark discovered, sometimes one small act of kindness can turn someone's ending into a brand new beginning. If this story touched your heart, don't just keep it to yourself, share it with someone who might need hope today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story. And remember, we're not just telling stories, we're changing lives, one story at a time.